This is TJ Legacy, host of the Soapboxx Podcast. The live stream will start shortly, but make sure you like our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, and tell all of your friends and family that the most infamous podcast on all your streaming services is about to go live.
TJ, what's goody? It's HB. Can I just big you up real quick with what you're doing with the Soapboxx? Listen, anytime somebody takes their platform to educate and inform the culture of hip-hop with politics, pop culture, doing what you're doing and being responsible with your platform, I can't do nothing but salute you, TJ. Keep doing what it do. Keep repping for the culture. Nothing but love and respect from me, baby. Peace.
Gentlemen, what's really good? It's Peter Rosenberg, Hot 97, ESPN, WWE, Cheap Heat Podcast, all that. Big shout out to my peoples over at the Soapboxx, all right? My man TJ, Legacy Cole, the whole Soapboxx crew. Incredible new podcast, all right? Politics, pop culture, hip-hop, even wrestling on occasion. It's all there. So go subscribe and make sure you tune in to the Soapboxx. TJ, what up, man? Appreciate you.
Peace to the planet. Charlemagne the God here. What's happening, TJ Legacy Cole? Salute to you, King. Salute to the Soapboxx Podcast. The Soapboxx Podcast is an independent black media podcast, and they talk hip-hop, politics, pop culture, mental health, social justice, a lot of my favorite subjects. Check them out, man. Tune in, subscribe to them. You never know. I'm out here looking at all the different podcasts that are moving and shaking out here, because I got the Black Effect Podcast Network, so I'm going to be checking y'all out, TJ. All right? Keep working.
All right. Appreciate that, Mr. Charlemagne. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Soapboxx Podcast. I am your host, TJ Legacy, and I am joined with the best co-host that any host could ever ask for. What's going on? Here to meet the family. Let's start with lady from the north. What's going on, Jesse? What's popping?
You love starting with me, TJ. Like, literally, starting with me. I'll beat
Well,
your
this
ass.
will be the last week then. This will be the goddamn last week.
What's popping? I'm so happy. Like, tomorrow's Friday. I don't work on Monday, so it's like a long weekend for me. And Monday is a holiday, so that means I get Tuesdays off. So I'm feeling real good. Happy to be on the Soapboxx Podcast. Looking at my fine co-host. And let me just shout out Jay real quick, the birthday girl. You looking finer than ever, shorty. I see you. Okay.
Toast to that.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers. Yes. So let's go ahead and toss it to Jess Giovanni. How you doing? How you feeling?
I am feeling pretty good today. Hey y'all. Thanks, Jess, for the shout out.
Yes.
Definitely love my Soapboxx Nation family. Yes, I will be celebrating a birthday in 2 days. Once you're listening to this podcast episode, it's May 28th. So shout out to the infamous Geminis in the nation.
Oh my goodness, you're the nicest Gemini I've ever met. I didn't realize you were a Gemini.
Yeah. My son's a Gemini, and he ain't that nice.
Gemini.
Yeah, I usually stay away from Geminis, but Giovanni is the nicest Gemini that I've probably met.
Yes, I'm trying to stay that way.
Good. All right. Appreciate you. And of course, can't forget my man. You know what? I'm going to switch these orders around real quick. Hold on. Because it's a bad look. Hold on. There we go. It's a bad look. Now I just did the damn same thing. Anyway. What's up, Alan? What's good, man? Alan, York, NYC, New York, Harlem, Jersey. Stand up. What's up, man?
Man, I'm feeling wonderful. I'm feeling almost as good as the Soapboxx ladies look tonight. Almost. I aspire. But yeah, man, I can't complain. It's the end of the week. Looking forward to Friday.
Yeah.
And I'm most forward. And of course, I am also looking forward to Giovanni's birthday as well, man. You know, everyone has a birthday. Everybody has a birthday. So technically, we are all Geminis this weekend.
That's right. That's
Giovanni,
right.
you have a birthday wish. What is your wish for your birthday? I know you're gonna turn up this weekend, but what is your wish for your birthday?
Oh,
Is it world peace? Is it to end world hunger? Like, what is it? If you have one wish.
Oh, so you just know that I have a wish like that. You close.
She's like all the healing in the world. I want everybody to be healed. And full
You know
and
what?
flourishing.
That would be nice.
29, that may be my wish, but this year it's about
okay.
me. So this year, my wish is that I have all the peace in the world, and that I can touch and receive everything that's meant to be mine this year. I am claiming and professing everything that is out there waiting for me to just grab it. So that is my wish this year, that I open myself up to new opportunities and just do me. Just do me, you know, just not saying that I'm not still for the people. I love my people. Y'all know I love y'all, but I'm giving
just
a little
not
bit
today or not Saturday.
Cut it out.
Every superhero, you know what? Superheroes take days off. I'm sure there's times where somebody's like, "Help me, Superman, help me," and he's like, "Nah, I'm good. I just want to sit on the couch."
It gotta be.
Yeah.
It gotta be something, y'all.
Sleepy.
Well, you actually, and I never even told y'all this. The title of this episode is going to be "Asked and Received," right?
Okay.
Because of the topics that we had. That was the one correlation of the topics that we have. And I don't know we're such a high note with Giovanni's birthday. So you know what? I'm just going to start off with, I know we have to talk about what happened in Texas, but I'm just going to say this. There's a lot in life. There's a lot of cause and effect, right? Things that happen. If you eat a lot of junk food, you're going to get fat.
Or you're going to get a big ass.
No, that's not really. You're gonna get fat because you're gonna whatever. Yes, your body's gonna get bigger. How about that?
I'm just saying, and this will
just saying. Yes, just if you eat a lot, you're gonna get fat. If you don't get enough sleep, guess what? The next day, you're more than likely gonna be tired and exhausted, right?
Yeah.
If you don't pay your bills, you're probably gonna be kicked out of your place and be homeless and all those other different things, and you're gonna run into financial problems, right? And so there's a lot of cause and effect. So when you have a person or a white male with a gun and he shoots people and then you parade him around as if he's a hero because of his treacherous and domestic terrorist acts, the effect of that is a lot of copycats. And that is what we're seeing. And so when I look at what happened and think about what happened in Buffalo, and then we look at what happened recently at the elementary school, where I believe it's 18 children and 2 adults were murdered by a gunman. You start to think, and it's easy. And I know, Alan, you talked about how we were going to unpack this, and I thought about that too. And so I thought about it by just asking questions. What did we think was going to happen? Sometimes we sow seeds, and sometimes you ask for things, and then we don't necessarily like the result of what we actually receive. It's not always, that's what life is. Life is about cause and effect. And the effect of parading around and glorifying these mass shooters because they are doing the bidding for white supremacy. The result is there are going to be more copycats, and there's going to be more of these mass shooters because we have people who have been ineffective of actually having these people have consequences. And so when I think and I seen the tragedy, it's numbing, even though we are not supposed to get numb to these shootings. But the cause and effect is that America asked for this. And I'm not saying American citizens as a whole, because there are plenty of solutions or suggested solutions. But some people say gun control. Some people say universal, background checks. Some people say that it's a white supremacy problem. Some people say that we have young teenage white males are being influenced by Fox News. Everybody's pointing the finger, but it's like, the major thing is that if there are no consequences, just like children, if there are no consequences to behavior, that behavior is going to only persist. And so this is what people in power who have the authority to make decisions This is what the back and forth between both Republicans and Democrats, this is what they asked for by their inactivity. And the result is we have 18 children and 2 people that have died. That's horrible. And so today, when we're unpacking and I'm gonna ask everybody their reaction to it, I just had questions because it's like people like, well, when is enough enough? And it's just like, well, but my biggest question is, well, what did we think was going to happen? What did we think was going to happen with these situations? If you have, I saw a news story that Alan, you posted, I think it was ABC News, where a 13-year-old can go into a store and just buy a gun. Can't buy pornographic magazines, can't buy cigarettes, can't buy alcohol, but can go into a store and just buy a gun. What do we think was going to happen in this country when we have people that are perpetuating and spewing anti-Black hatred, hatred towards minorities, all throughout this country? What do we think was going to happen? And there's no consequences to these actions. That's why we don't show, we're on the soapbox, we're not showing the mass shooters, because more people are going to want to glorify, because they're like, well, I'm not seen, I'm not heard, so I'm going to do what this person does, because now I've seen the Kyle Rittenhouse. I've seen him get off in the judicial system. I've seen the judge coddle him. I've seen Amber Geiger get a hug from the judge. And I see how they always tell Black people to ask for forgiveness. I've seen the effect, because we keep focusing, the shooters focus on the effect of these heinous acts, but we don't focus on the cause of it. It's always thoughts and prayers afterwards. But we have to sit down and really have an in-depth, introspective conversation with ourselves and within the country of itself, and the fabric of what this country was actually founded on. What did we expect? It's similar to in communities where they say, well, people like to say, well, what about Black on Black crime? Well, it's easy to talk about the effect of it. Yes, there's Black on Black crime, but we don't talk about the root of the problem, which is the economic deprivation that is perpetuated by white supremacy. The cause of these things is the hatred in our country that is the foundation, which is white supremacy that is run rampant. White supremacy that has infiltrated law enforcement. The same law enforcement that wouldn't run in, that stood idly by, as reports are being reported in Texas when the shooter was in there. They didn't go in there, and they're militarized. The same law enforcement that got Dylan Roof a hamburger after his mass shooting in South Carolina. The same law enforcement that didn't shoot the shooter in Buffalo on site, where we've seen Black people get shot down and roughed up and harassed and beaten for less. So I'm going to go around and ask everybody's reaction. And so that was my reaction. When you see these mass shootings, of course you feel heartbreak. Of course you're saddened. And then to find out that Miss Garcia, who was one of the teachers, and she was a mother of 4, her husband died today.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband died of a heart attack.
A broken heart.
Or what I would like to classify, and I'm not a doctor, but I would think that if I lost the love of my life in such a heinous way, that trauma, who knows if that trauma triggered his heart attack.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so we have to understand that there are consequences to our actions, but there are also consequences to inactivity, and there's also consequences to not using your voice and speaking up and not using your influence in these situations, in these circumstances. And that's why we strive to do what we do right now. And so I want everyone who watches this or listens to this podcast, or even those for overseas that don't have to deal with these issues, people who are fans and our listeners in Soapboxx Nation in Nigeria and Portugal and England and some of these other countries that don't have the lax gun laws and stuff. I'm not even going to get into a gun law conversation or debate. I just want us to focus on the cause rather than the effect. This is the fruit that America is bearing because we do not have the ability at this point to collectively pay attention to the cause or the root of the problem. Alan, what do you say?
Well, I guess I do want to, before I, a couple things. I actually want to pose a question back at you. First and foremost, rest in peace to all their families. Well, pardon me, prayers to all their families, and rest in peace to all their children.
Absolutely.
Like TJ said, it's almost numbing, but I think part of the strategy, long term, and maybe not so overtly, is to make it numbing. I'm saying to curve us to looking for solutions. But I will say, in regards to the glorification statement that you made, and sometimes I do wonder about what would the line be between coverage and glorification, because there does have to be some sort of coverage and information surrounding these things, and I think from the beginning to the end, from the beginning of the shooting to the end of the trial, I think all of the coverage itself is necessary. From what I could see and I interpret as just reporting of the facts or following the trail of the facts, someone may see as glorification, but I'm not sure where we could, what changes we could make to possibly curb that thinking of glorification. And
is that rhetorical, or you're asking me?
No, yeah, I'm asking you because I definitely want your thoughts. Yeah, well, what do you think that line is between just coverage and glorification, or is that just in the eye of the beholder, I should say?
No. Well, I think that's a good question, because I think there's a difference between coverage of an event and, as journalists and media members do. And, I always say things that are put into public consumption, people have a right to comment and have their own commentary on it. However, when we look at Kyle Rittenhouse, when you see him right next, that picture with him next to the judge sitting there, and how the judge doesn't omit certain evidence of Kyle Rittenhouse violent past, right? Prior to, he doesn't put that into the case. And then you start seeing how he's getting paid thousands of dollars to go on speaking or tour events. And you start seeing people on social media, praising him or supporting him, and people who are trying to set up for these officers or Kyle Rittenhouse, people setting up GoFundMe accounts to make sure that these acts are profitable. And we're seeing there is a sector of people that support these actions, where someone who may be who deems themselves as an outcast, deems themselves as someone who has been wronged by society because of, well, I'm a white male and or a white identifying male or whoever, they'll look at that and say, well, I can be somebody too. I can do that. I see a cop will say, well, man, I don't have to sweat out here. If I harass or beat up a black person or shoot a black person, well, the judicial system most likely is going to protect me, so I can get off and I can possibly still get my pension, and then I can get some GoFundMe money. So that's what I'm talking about when I say, I guess, glorification, where we have George Zimmerman out here doing, promoting himself and on, it's that sector is what I'm talking about.
But I will say this, and I'm sorry, just to kind of, I guess, narrow it a little bit more, just because, I can definitely see where a situation like Kyle Rittenhouse, who essentially you already have people who have picked a side in regards to BLM and, 2A, Second Amendment, would go ahead and defend him. But I'm speaking about in a situation where we've seen in the last couple of weeks, where we're talking about mass shooters, where there's, by and by, there's not necessarily anyone that's coming to your defense, at least not in the same aspect where we're talking about Kyle Rittenhouse, where he had actual politicians praising him for his acts. Like in a situation with mass shooters, I don't think that I wouldn't necessarily draw a parallel there. So in that case, where do you draw the line as far as glorification and coverage is concerned? And then also Giovanni, I would love to hear your thoughts on that as well, as someone who's actually is working on the media on a day-to-day basis.
Well,
Go ahead, Jay. I was just gonna touch on
No, go
the comment from Soapbox Nation real quick before we get to you. This is actually attorney Andrew Darley, attorney Andrew Darley at law, friend of the show Soapbox Podcast, says police aren't here to save anything; they are here to control certain communities. I would agree, and this is Andrew Darley, who was a former candidate for Orange County Sheriff, chiming in on the Soapbox Podcast discussion. Appreciate that. Go ahead, Giovanni. What are your thoughts?
And then Alan, can you just repeat the question? Was it just about glorifying?
Yeah, just like what is the line between reporting an incident and glorifying? Because TJ mentioned how we have people are seeing these people put on TV and reported on often, and like to me as a person who just like how could just us reporting what's happening on the news be taken as glorification in a total sense? Obviously, there are people who are sick and deranged who think that any sort of attention is good attention. But I was just kind of wondering what a solution would be to kind of maybe curve the perception of quote unquote glorification. Because I won't necessarily say I see it when it comes to at least mass murderers. Like I said, Calvin House is a little bit different, but people who are committing these heinous acts, I don't necessarily see coverage as glorification, but I could be wrong in that aspect.
No. Well, so with news, we're already taught like with certain things, it is considered glorifying. And so we try to refrain from that. Like, for an example, if it's a gang murder or whatever, a gang was trying to promote themselves through a murder, we wouldn't necessarily highlight the gang, but we may say these are the people who went to jail without saying the gang's name, because we do know that a lot of times that in certain situations, one occurrence can make another a similar event happen, and the same thing happens with mass shootings. So based off of just like data, one mass shooting and it being, if in your sense, glorified on TV, then yes, it sometimes does lead to another mass shooting. So the mass shooting that just recently took place in New York could have triggered this mass shooting in Texas. So you never really know, but that's just like we know that when Donald Trump was in office, it seemed like there was more violence, or it's more white nationalists seem to appear during that time, because it was almost like he was promoting right-wing extremists to come out. Right. And so that's what happened. And so sometimes you do have to be very careful with the media, but at the same time, if we look at it, when we think about how people who are not from America and they come to this country and what they think about Black people or what they think about people of color, the images that they have seen of us as criminals, as abusers, robbers, stealers. And so I think that it would be we would not be doing our job if we continue to not show the faces of these young adults who are going around killing children. I feel like it's completely different. Like, okay, the 18-year-old who shot up the grocery store, that was a hate crime. But for this, it's just like they try to classify what this guy did against the children as him being mentally ill and having a rough childhood. And it's just like, no, we're going to show his face on TV, like how they hold the Black people face up with the mugshot. This is the man who sold the narcotics. We don't do that. We don't do that. It's very rare that you go to a press conference and you see a police sheriff holding up a picture of a white man saying this is a terrorist and he is he's a terrorist, like period. You know, he's
Yeah.
a terrorist. It's not often that you see that. So no, I wouldn't classify it as glorifying. Yeah, we know that if we show it on TV, is it likely to promote and or cause harm for other people? Yes, that is true, but
there's not really a way around it.
Yeah, it's no way around it. Either it stops completely or there's some sort of cutoff. But at this point in life, it's kind of too late to rearrange how things are being shown on national TV, other than the fact that Black people who commit crimes are being shown more than any other race. That's the only problem that I see, is that Black people who commit crimes are shown way more than any other race. Go ahead, Jess.
I just feel like I agree with you, Jay, 100%. I just feel like if they're going to show, and going to your point, Alan, about glorifying, like if they're going to show the person who committed the crime, like stop acting like they're a victim. Like stop trying to act like, oh, they did this because they were bullied or they did this because of mental health. No, they did this because they did this. You don't need to give like a whole background of who they are and why they did what they did, trying to justify it, because I don't see that happening. Like when they talk about the Black men or women who were murdered, they don't sit back and talk about, oh, they were this or they were that. Like there's nothing to make them a victim. It still makes them out to be like a criminal, right? Yeah, exactly. So I feel like if you're talking about ways that you can change it, no, like we can talk about they did this because this is who they are and this is what they did. Stop trying to like make them seem like a victim because of what they went through or because of mental illness, because there's plenty of people in this country who go through mental illness, who go through bullying, and who are not out there shooting up people. Like these people are evil. They're monsters. I'm sorry. But for you to go into a school and shoot up little children, I don't give a damn if you were bullied. You are evil. If you really felt that way, then, and I'm not justifying shooting, period, because I don't agree with it. But why would you go to an elementary school that had nothing to do with them innocent ass kids and shoot them up? Like, do not bring up bullying. Don't bring up bullying, because that has nothing to do about why you did what you did. You're a bully yourself because you went to people who had nothing to do with what you were going through and you killed innocent little ass kids. So I'm sorry, but the media, they need to do better too. They need to do better with how they're showing these evil ass people who are doing these evil ass acts, and stop trying to make a story for them. Like, no, you're evil and what you did was evil. I don't care what you went through, but what you did was evil. And if you want to look at, I'm sorry, John Q, I think, or John Q, that's based on a true story. Yeah. And he went into a hospital and he took people hostage because he was trying to save his kid and he felt like nobody was hearing him. But did he go out there and murder innocent people? No, he was trying to prove his point. Okay, and he didn't do that by hurting people who are innocent. So stop trying to come up with this narrative that, oh, I was victimized because I was a bully, or I was bullied, or whatever the case may be. Like, the media has a responsibility as well, and they're failing with how they're presenting these terrorists and these evil ass people.
Well,
that's how I see it.
Yeah, and thank you for that, because you bring up a good point. Because what I've read in reports is that he was bullied because he was poor. Right. One, as someone who was, as Alan knows, as someone who was homeless, like my thought of my financial situation was not, I'm homeless, let me go ahead and shoot everybody. It was, no, let me go find something to eat, or let me go get a job, or let me go do what I got to do to survive. It wasn't like, and on top of that, me being poor, as a lot of Americans are poor, where did you get the money to buy an AR-15 and tactical gear? Because as a former security guard, I know that shit is not cheap. So who's funding you? If you're poor and you can't get any clothes, because I'm sure, let me look up how much an AR-15 costs.
Right.
Real quick. All right, let's see what pops up. I want to just see the price of an AR-15. Let's see. Let me go.
I think I heard $3,000 to $5,000.
Poor
And
kids.
unless you're and he's saving up money to do this, so it's obviously premeditated, no matter what.
That's two pair of red bottoms.
What?
Like what?
It's 2 pair of lubes.
Yeah. So if it's a couple grand for an AR-15 plus the ammunition, that's just the gun plus the ammunition. I'm sure there's a Walmart. I mean, I just came from Dallas, Texas. I'm not sure how far this place is, but there's Walmarts everywhere. I'm sure for $2,000 you can get a whole brand new wardrobe at Walmart. Whole brand new.
You can buy Walmart for $2,000.
But is he saying that he's still poor or he used to be poor?
No,
he said he was bullied
because he was poor. They say because he was poor in the way he dressed. Allegedly.
But how you go
Allegedly.
and shoot up little kids for saying that? Little kids didn't even say that to you. They had nothing to do with what you're
right. That's what I'm
saying.
saying. It's just like you did it to the people who you didn't know, and not the people who are bullying you.
Yeah, it's we all know it's cowardly, and we got to see is these people, they will pick what they deem as easy targets. You'll go into a grocery store because you know that you've cased the joint, and there are a lot of elderly Black people at this grocery store. You'll go and you'll shoot people who are unarmed because they're at a protest fighting for injustice. You'll shoot people. Like, these people are cowards, and they know they're cowards. And so, but a part of one of the fundamental principles of white supremacy is not to punish white people openly, right? That's why you'll have someone like Trump that'll go and say, oh, there's been bad people on both sides, right? You're not to admonish white people for their behavior, especially towards other groups or white Latinos or whatever. That's a part of it too. So this is, and we're going to move on, but this is such it's a cowardly act. However, and I say this with the utmost sensitivity, we know a universal truth that's coming out of this. And it's not that, when we talk about cause and effect, it's not that, oh man, enough is enough. It's not that, okay, we're going to get a law passed. The only thing we know right now about this mass shooting and the mass shooting in Buffalo is that it's going to happen again.
Unfortunately.
We know right now that this is not going to be the last one. It's just June. I mean, it's about to be June. The year's not even halfway over yet. And we already know that there's going to be, because now they're coming rapidly. Like, they're coming more and more frequently. So, our hearts go out to the families of the victims, but we really have to, and also let me touch on this one thing. This idea that people are like, well, this is why we got to go and vote. Fuck that. People are voting. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
People are
still
voting.
Happening.
And these things are still happening. So it's the people who were voting for and the money behind these folks. And that's why we have a lot of these politicians. We got to watch who are and vet these people. That's why, and that was my little segue, that we will be having some people on the soapbox, some candidates from the soapbox who are vying for these same very positions. And I'm not going to say it here, but we actually got contact from somebody who is running for a pretty big race that wants to join and be a part and be a guest on the soapbox very soon. This is someone I would consider a heavy hitter. I'm not gonna lie, and I wouldn't boast like that, but the ink is not dry yet, but we are going to be having more of those folks on the podcast as we reach August, which is the primary heading into the general elections. But speaking of the theme of ask and we shall receive, remember, what was it last year? Was it last year there was a debate about Juneteenth, right? Mm-hmm. Juneteenth, everybody had this debate, and they said, you know what? We want Juneteenth. You know what, Alan? Just say, Giovanni, Juneteenth should be a holiday, right? And Biden was like, I know people were asking for equality and stuff, and everybody was asking, marching and George Floyd and stuff. They were like, hey, while we're at it, Juneteenth would be a holiday. And Biden and the administration was like, all right, well, we can't really do nothing about police brutality right now. So, you know what? Okay, we're just going to make Juneteenth a federal holiday. And everybody rejoiced. It was like, yeah, we got a day off and we're going to get paid. It's a federal holiday. And now now we're dealing with the effect. So the cause was the outcry of we should have our own holiday. And it was like, all right, sure. But now people are upset because now the commercialization of Juneteenth has begun, because now, as other holidays, and one of the worst holidays, I think, in this country, I don't like Cinco de Mayo, not because of Cinco de Mayo, what it represents, and because Cinco de Mayo is a holiday of just mass cultural appropriation. Like, I don't like white folks and sombreros and the fake mustaches and just this an idea to just be out there drinking tequila and acting a fool, and you don't give a damn about Mexicans or their culture. But on this day, it's just an excuse to put on a costume and just parade yourself around and have a good time. Well, Walmart was like, hey, we understand our marketing research and the value of the black dollar. So guess what? What do you need? Let's get some ice cream. So Walmart said, let's put out this celebration edition of the Juneteenth ice cream. Just say, Giovanni, Allen, did y'all go to Walmart and go run and get yourself some Juneteenth ice cream? Did you get it?
I haven't been to Walmart in a while.
Unfortunately not. Yeah, they took it down already. So it only lasted a week.
Yes, grand opening, grand closing. So Walmart came out with this ice cream. I did not get to taste it, but it says red velvet and cheesecake flavor. I don't really do red velvet or cheesecake, I probably would have passed on this anyway. But yeah, this is what the effect of it is. They're celebrating.
That sounds good to me.
And so this is what happened. We have to. So when we ask for things, right? Ask and you shall receive. We have to be very specific of what we're asking for and what we deem is actual equality and what are tangibles that we are asking for. Because people, and I know I keep people saying, oh, he harps on white supremacy. A part of the white supremacy is that, one, they don't like to take L's. And two, it's very backhanded. Like you ever get a backhanded compliment? You're like, oh, you look good today. You're like, what is that supposed to? What the hell is that supposed to mean? Okay. Or how black folks, when we have conversation, be like, oh, I see your little friend. Anytime black folks use little in front of something, they're throwing shade at you, right? Oh, I see you. You got your little job. Y'all got the little soapbox thing y'all doing. I see you doing your thing. It's backhanded. And so making Juneteenth a federal holiday, we should have saw this coming. Right? Because now when you open the doors, not just to your community, as we saw in Buffalo, to people who are outsiders, and without checking them and saying, hey, who are you? We allowed somebody to just case our grocery store. Nobody went up to them and was like, hey, what are you doing here? Because you can't do that in the white folks community. I ask anybody who disagrees with me, if you're black, right, or a minority, you go into a predominantly white neighborhood and just start walking around. Somebody in that community is going to be like, hey, hello, where do you live? You're from here? Where school? I haven't seen you here around. They will check on you because what? They police their community, right? So, and not only that, what we need to do is we need to protect our culture that much more by just we just have this open door policy, right? And with this open door policy, we're like, okay, hey, you got a federal holiday, but now that we gave that to you, now it's exploitation time. And so now people are upset, but guess what? You shouldn't be, because you asked for this. Indirectly, but you asked for it. So guess what? Go get your red velvet Juneteenth. I hope it tastes like freedom. I didn't get to go to Walmart, and I would have loved to partake and eat this ice cream, because this is what folks asked for. I guess, they're like, yeah, we asked for reparations. Yeah, we asked it, but this is what you were given, because
ice cream.
Power concedes nothing, as Frederick Douglass taught us. Power concedes nothing without a demand. Your demand wasn't high. So the demand that you had, that just shows you the disrespect. I just said, like, oh, okay, y'all want equality, y'all want police accountability, y'all want to, all these different, tangibles and reparations and stuff. We'll give you symbolic victories. That's why we don't get excited about that. That's why black folks shouldn't get excited about the first ever black press secretary, or even the first ever black vice president of the United States. We shouldn't get excited, because why should we get excited about these things if they don't come with any tangibles for the rest of us? So when we get Juneteenth as a holiday, great, you get a paid holiday, but guess who else gets a paid holiday? Is that a paid holiday just for African Americans? No, it's a paid holiday for everybody. It's this trickle down shit that we all get. But what you did get is now we can have a white corporation benefit and profit off of your culture, which is capitalism, which is the whole antithesis of why Juneteenth is so important, because guess what? Those people who were enslaved for 2 years after they were freed. So now capitalism comes back around and says, we still gonna make money off of this. That's how white supremacy works. And so the outcry was, well, we don't like it. So as Alan stated, Walmart took it off the shelf. So now you just get a holiday and we ain't getting no ice cream. You might as well have kept the ice cream. You might as well.
Yeah, I honestly feel like we could have kept the ice cream.
You might as well have.
Why does that have to say with ice cream?
Or what we could have done is had somebody who's a black-owned business, would have been a good time for them to come out with their ice cream and say, hey, Walmart, can you promote these black-owned businesses that actually have ice cream and show that you are not trying to just culturally appropriate? But no, nobody asked for that.
Or they could have had these ice creams and donated the proceeds to these black-owned businesses legitimately. I think that also would have been.
But you know what? You know what's so crazy is that they would never do this to another community for any atrocities. Yeah. Juneteenth, although we celebrate the freedom of Juneteenth, of being free on Juneteenth, what happened to those people was an atrocity. You would never see Walmart say, hey, let's make some Holocaust Haagen-Dazs. Holocaust. You would never see that, because they would know better. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead, Alan. You're freezing up, but go ahead.
I said, didn't you just say we do this with the Mexicans in Cinco de Mayo?
No, yeah, with Mexicans, but not with the Jewish community.
Okay, so you're saying that they wouldn't do it to the Jewish community?
No.
I'm not just dispelling, but I'm just saying it happens. I mean, I don't. Unfortunately, I don't think that there is a. In fact, I don't speak on the Jewish community. Shout out to all my Jewish brothers and sisters, because I don't know enough about all those.
And I'm using that as an example. They would not appropriate people. It just seems like black culture, no matter where you are, no matter whether you are Hispanic, whether you're Asian, whatever, it just seems like it's just there for the taking, because there is not a sense of ownership when it comes to our culture. We are and to our fault, that's just who black people are. We're a very loving, welcoming, caring community, despite the negative stereotypes of who people think we are. We're very inviting. So people, when you invite people into, you ever hear? So, okay, for instance, right?
So now, listen. So
you have one white person say something, and then next thing you know, black folks is on Twitter talking about, oh, they invited to the barbecue, just like that.
So listen, you just didn't want it to be a holiday, period.
Who me?
No,
because
that's the bottom line of it.
People were already celebrating Juneteenth.
I know, but I'm saying you didn't want it to be a federal holiday, because all of this is what comes with being a federal holiday.
Correct. It opens the door. There's no exclusivity to it.
Well, we would need to speak with the National Black Caucus that has been pushing for this to be a holiday for a while. And I mean, for a lot of people, and I can't say I was one of them, but there's a lot of people that were requesting for, like, literally, I cannot tell you how many consecutive years during Cinco de Mayo I have heard black people say, how come we don't have our own holiday? Like, this is a complaint that has been coming, whether you like it or not. It's a complaint that's been coming within the community for a while. Then the Juneteenth got popularized probably maybe 10 or less than 10 years ago, if we're being completely honest. especially in certain regions of the United States, because majority that was a Southern, specifically Texas thing, because that's where it took place.
Why do you think it was done last year?
Well, obviously, it being done last year was a clear culmination of one, like I said, the popularity of it only grew 2 or 3, I say under 10 years ago. Honestly, I would like to say probably the last 5 years. And
But I'm gonna ask you a question.
This is beyond. I'm talking about within our community. I'm talking about Black people.
But I understand. I'm talking about the demand, right? We're talking about asking for things, right? Or your demand. Do we think that Juneteenth was made a federal holiday last year to build and promote freedom, or to appease the social justice outcries?
Holidays aren't for freedom. That's never been about.
No, I'm talking about celebrating as a celebratory symbol of freedom. That's what Juneteenth is. That's what the holiday represents.
It does, correct.
That's what it represents. But there's still going to be companies who are going to try to monetize off of that.
Well, of course.
Period.
What I'm saying is that
I think Alan mentioned, like, in our chat, that's like with Christmas, that's with Valentine's Day, that's with like every holiday. So yes, you do have a point. Go ahead, Alan. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying if the issue is it becoming a federal holiday, then that's a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because all of this comes with it being a federal holiday.
Well, I'm just saying,
not a federal holiday.
No, what I'm saying is that, and I think we're getting off track. What I'm saying is, my point is, when you ask for something, right? We have been asking for reparations. We have been asking for justice. We have been asking for these things that are actually tangible. And all of those things seem to get ignored. But you'll say, all right, we'll throw you a bone. We'll give
it's like
you
they're trying to tell us to settle for it. I get what you're saying.
Correct. We'll give you a holiday. Yeah. We'll give you a position, a token position. This person is in this position where it has a Black person who's the first ever. This, but there's nothing tangible out of it. And then so what I'm trying to get everybody in the community or in the culture to understand is, don't always fall for the okie doke, right? Everything that glitters isn't gold. I'm sure getting a federal holiday seemed like a bang up idea, but this is the effect of it. If you're just getting things with any sort of strategic strategy behind it, is what my point.
But my thing is, I don't think nobody acts like a holiday is the end all be all. People asking for a representation for one day out of the year for something that's really important to us, and I don't think we should be equating that and getting that to people just quitting. I think we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can walk around a lot, have a sip of water, and continue to run the marathon. Like, I just don't understand why one thing means we're not doing the other, or people are not focused on.
It's on like
this is something that the elders asked for.
Yep, well, it's the first step.
Now, I won't even call it a step. I'm just saying it's one of those things in our journey, and I don't think.
I hope they enjoy
existing. Doesn't.
Well, I hope everybody enjoys their day off and in the hot sun with no ice cream.
And then also, I don't even think, like, a lot of people were just like there's actually symbolism.
Don't fuck it up. Keep your mouth shut. Now you got no ice cream and a day off, and it's gonna be hot in June.
There's symbolism to the red velvet. The symbolism.
There is
in Juneteenth, and like I said, all of this is just like. All of this has been kind of popularized nationwide.
Yeah. Like that. Red and strawberries it was a part of the culture that they made. Yeah.
Now, what I do want to do before we move on, because there actually is a Black-owned ice cream company that is being sold within Walmart, and I did want to highlight them because they also
do they have Freedom Fudge?
They have, I don't know, it's a Black-owned company. It's called Creamalicious. They're called Creamalicious. And they are sold at Walmart.
Do they have Liberty?
Nice. Creamalicious.
Liberty licorice flavored?
So, don't listen to TJ. Support these Black people and do not make fun of their flavors.
Period. And we will definitely highlight them on the Soapboxx Podcast.
Listen, I'm going to eat ice cream that day. I just want to know, is it, is it civil rights cookies and cream? What am I eating that day? I just want to know what the flavors are.
You can eat Whatever your heart desires. Pause. But Creamalicious is the name of the brand, and they are being carried by Walmart. So as much as we want,
all right.
Yes. So as much as we want to, I didn't want to spend 10 minutes dissing Walmart and branding without at least bigging up a Black-owned company. I'm trying to make it a better. I'm trying to make Walmart. Do a better balance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I go to Walmart. I shop at Walmart. And Walmart, if you want to sponsor the Soapboxx Podcast, we are here.
Listen, I want on Juneteenth, I'm going to be eating We Shall Overcome waffle cone ice cream on Juneteenth. That's what I'll be eating.
Hey, niggas, now
just get you a regular, whatever type of ice cream that you eat, and get a white piece of paper. Color it red, yellow, and green. Write Juneteenth on there. Tape it to the ice cream that you're gonna eat.
I'll just say this: if you Black and you eating French vanilla ice cream on Juneteenth, you trifling.
Yeah, I agree. What? I agree. Don't even
wait. Why if the French vanilla has chocolate swirl in it?
Oh, so you're intersectional. Look at you. You see that? You're intersectional on Juneteenth.
Eat brownies.
We call that. That's called the
brownies, pound cake, coconut.
You know what? That's everybody's homework. I want everybody to go home. I want everybody who's watching and listening to go home, and I want 10 different Juneteenth flavors that we can present to Black-owned businesses.
What about Reese's Buttercup?
Reese's, that's good. Honey Graham.
Honey Graham.
We got a lot.
Y'all don't like Freedom Fudge? Y'all don't like that name?
Freedom Fudge. I like that.
I'm gonna go with the Negro Nuggets.
Freedom Fudge. Negro Nuggets.
Yeah, you definitely got.
Wait, what flavor was that? What's that though? Was it chocolate with like some?
It's like a cookies and cream. You know what I'm saying? It's like a cookies and cream, the nuggets. You know.
What nuggets? What's nuggets?
Wait, what kind of nuggets?
Right.
Okay, so we're gonna do. So you know how with cookies and cream they have those little chunks. I always thought those were nuggets. So I'm renaming those Negro Nuggets, aka cookies and cream.
Okay, wow. I can dig that.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're gonna have Rosa Parks peanut butter crunch.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like peanut butter crunch.
Rosa Crunch.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey. Rosa Red Velvet. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Look at that. Look, the spirit is moving. Hey, let's do this story before, because I know Jesse has to run, and we gotta run as well. But hey, speaking of ask and you shall receive, Jesse.
Yes.
What's popping? Because there's some cause and effect with this story. What's going on with this gentleman?
Listen,
right
what's
here?
popping?
Like 33 kids?
Listen, everybody. Wait, the Bible says, "Be fruitful and multiply." And you know what? I'm gonna agree with that. I was fruitful and I multiplied by 3, but some people decide to multiply by 33. 33 times 1. So there is a father out there who birthed 33 kids. Which is not really shocking to me, coming from a Cape Verdean family. My dad has 12 brothers and sisters, which is a big family, but 33, that's obviously larger than that. But he took this picture with his 33 kids, minus 9, because 9 of them could not be in the picture. But after he did this, he did get a lot of backlash on social media in regards to this. And TJ, I think you have that clip. And if you could just play it for us.
I do.
Mr. Producer, press play.
Sit the fuck down.
Okay.
And I meant that. Because I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do.
As
you hear that? Yeah, bitch. I'm that nigga, though. Pull out game, ain't weak. I just don't pull out, bitch. For you motherfuckers that want to know, I don't pull out.
I won't be sleeping.
It ain't weak, motherfucker. I don't pull out.
Right.
Fuck you mean, bitch? Motherfucker. Let's talk about my motherfucking kids. You niggas got 3 or 4 and don't do a motherfucking thing.
He ain't lying.
Ain't shit weak over here. My pockets ain't weak and my dick soul ain't weak, bitch ass nigga.
God.
You pussy ass nigga sitting there talking. Ain't got a motherfucking dollar in your pocket. Ain't got a dollar in your motherfucking pocket. Ain't got a dollar in your motherfucking pocket. But you want to talk that shit. I'm still that nigga with 30. I'm still that nigga with 30. I'm still that nigga with 30. Fuck you mean,
Taxes.
bitch? I'm still that nigga. When you get like me, then you gonna fuck with me, bitch. That's all I got to say, nigga. You niggas will never be me. Quit trying to run behind because you fuck the same bitch I fuck with. That don't make you me. It would never make you me. It's only one Brian, nigga.
Yo, does he look like Kev on stage?
It'll never make you me, nigga. Yeah.
He look like Kev on stage playing.
It'll never make you me, nigga.
I would sign him record label. He's giving.
Yeah, I definitely would. I definitely feel like he could come with some sort of like some type of record, and it would sell.
I will just say, I will say this. I am so glad that we played that video, and I'm so glad that we showed those pictures, because I actually have to talk to my lawyer to send 34 cease and desist for them damn legacy t-shirts. I am going to start getting them cease and desist letters popping. I do not like that. Y'all could have had any other shirt on except that. So I'm glad that he got some paper, because I want some of that too.
Listen, all I'm gonna say is he kind of made a point. He was like, some of y'all be having 2 or 3 or 3 or 4, whatever number he said, and don't be doing shit. He got 33 kids, and if he's really providing for all 33 kids, then more power to him. Why judge him? Why judge a father? Wait, why judge a father who's actually holding down his own and taking care of his kids and being there for him? He is right. There are literally dads out there who have maybe 2, 3, 4, even 4 kids, and who don't do nothing for their kids. So let me tell you something. If he's out there really providing for all 33 kids, then power to him. I'm not even going to hate on that.
Listen, they said King Solomon in the Bible had 700 wives.
Right.
King Solomon in the Bible, he had 700 wives.
Internet,
listen,
do what you
people
do.
with
By
one
next
wife.
week,
There's people with one wife, and they don't know what to do with that one wife.
Next 33 kids, by next week, just say, by next week, the internet he will be a pariah, because somebody gonna come out talking about he don't do nothing for his kids. He out there stunned.
All right, let's see. I bet you that's not gonna happen.
What are we betting?
Maybe.
What are we betting?
Maybe for those 9 kids who didn't show up in that picture,
somebody,
but for those 33 who were in that picture, I guarantee you no. No.
I'm telling you, no. He said, he claimed he take care of all his kids. That's what he said.
Okay, you're right.
That's what he put on wax. I'm telling you,
know what, TJ, we gonna bet, because we bet with the Lori Harvey and Michael Jordan, and I was right. So I will take a chance and I will bet here, because if you out here being really loud, I'm really hoping that your bark is louder than your bite, because out here in the streets, especially in the social media era, a lot of people's barks be louder than their bites. So I'll bet you, TJ.
I bet you he won't make it. He won't make it to Juneteenth.
All right, let's.
he won't make it to Juneteenth.
All right, let's bet that.
Okay. All right. The bet is by Juneteenth, there'll be a story that talk about father on social media with 33 kids. There will be some scandal about somebody, one of his baby moms, coming out saying that he don't take care of his kids.
And I disagree. Let me tell you why.
Or some sort of tax evasion, some sort of tax problem. I'm not wishing anything bad on the brother.
Wait.
If he take care of his kids, it's good, it's great. But I just know the internets. I know them, and they're petty. And they're going to be looking into him now, because he went out there.
I'm not talking about tax evasion, but going back to what you said, I feel like none of his baby mothers are going to say anything. Because listen, let me tell you something. For you to actually gather your children around to want to do this group photo, and listen, do you know how hard it is to get a family picture? Even with a consistent family, I can't listen, I'm 33 years old. I do not have one consistent photo with my mom, my dad, my kids, my siblings. Even take my kids out of it. My mom, my dad, no family photo. Do you know how hard it is to get your family together? To take a family photo, let me tell you something, that is very difficult. So the fact that he was able to do that -9, I applaud him for that. TJ, I will make a bet with you, because I don't know, something tells me that he'd be there for his kids, but I'm okay with admitting if I'm wrong.
When you were
and
saying
that's
that,
what a bet is about.
What song was coming? You know what song was playing in my head? I'm wishing on the star.
Oh my gosh, of course.
Wondering
Of course.
where you are.
I mean, how much could you
I
actually
hope so. I
be
wish the
for
brother
33
the best. I do. I wish him the best.
Wait, Alan, say that again.
How
Alan,
much
go ahead.
could you actually be there for 33 kids?
That's why I
That's
had
true,
fun.
but not for nothing. But a lot of his kids look like they was the same age, and so you don't know. You don't know what's happening behind closed doors. You really
Oh, I do
don't.
know.
And no, you
I do
don't.
know because the
No,
internet's
Alan,
gonna
I
tell
do
me.
get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. So I get that part. I get that aspect. But do you really know? You don't know because you're not there. Some people really do make it happen. Some people don't because they can't or they won't. But some people do make it happen by any means necessary. And I'm gonna give this dad with Father's Day coming up. I'm gonna give this dad the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
He seemed
Yeah,
like a charmer. He seemed like he did
I was
enough
about
in
to
that
say,
video to
listen,
get the
if
benefit of the
he's
doubt.
listening here at the Soapbox, let him know that we have an admirer.
What?
Huh?
We having you a dad, and I'm looking at you doing what you gotta do, and I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. And if you do what you gotta do for your kids, then yeah, I am an admirer.
Let's
Say that, Alan.
go, Cuban.
Oh, Lord.
No, not that kind of admirer.
Oh, my bad.
Alan,
I'm sorry.
Get your
I just
ass
said
off camera.
Cuban.
I love that
All
song.
right,
Keep on fucking
yo.
up
So
for me.
moving on, I know this is guys probably thank you, Jesse, for that. What's popping, and we will keep an eye on that story in our bet.
Yeah.
This is a story. Y'all may not know who this guy is. Ray Liotta, right?
I don't.
He is. Ray Liotta. He played Henry Hill in the movie Goodfellas, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. He actually passed away in his sleep in Dominican Republic today. So
he played in other movies too.
R.I.P. to Ray Liotta. He's a really good actor. He's in other mob movies, and I think he was in B movie as well.
He was in something
movie.
else. I know he was. I can't think of it right now, but he wasn't.
He was in John Q. He was in the
there
movie
you
John
go.
Q. He was in the movie John Q as well. So shout out to him. He passed at 67 years old. It's still young.
How did he pass? Did it say how he passed?
They said it in his sleep, and he was in Dominican Republic, but he's in the Dominican Republic, so.
Listen, speaking of like going places on vacation, did you hear that Sandal Resort had 3 Americans who passed away, and nobody knew like how they passed away, and it was actually reported that they passed away from carbon monoxide poisoning?
I don't know.
That
all I know is one day I'll go to
scary.
Dominican Republic and y'all may never see me again. Oh, let me not say it like that. But anyway, one day I may go to Dominican Republic and have a grand old time. That's what I'm going to have. Have a grand old time. I used to think that my wife was in Dominican Republic. I used to think she was over there. I used to think so.
Yeah, I used to think my husband was a billionaire, but no comment.
You said what?
Nothing. I said no comment.
No, your husband got 33 kids. Look, don't let the Lord
relax, TJ. Pump your brakes. Pump your brakes.
It can come in many different ways. Okay.
Pump your brakes.
Who said your soulmate has to just be a billionaire? Maybe he's rich in life. Maybe he's look.
Okay, Bob Marley, come through.
There you go. Hey, let's get to the moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't miss anything, did I? We covered what we needed to cover, right?
We sure did.
For now. And also,
go ahead.
No. I was gonna say also, we gotta let it's a birthday episode. We gotta let the lady go a little bit early.
I was just about to do that because I was gonna toss it to her. But go ahead, Alan. And look, there's one thing on this podcast.
I say that, and I was just saying we just gotta let her go early. So we got it.
Thank you. Not thank you for that, but thank you for thinking of me.
There's one. I was about to say. There's one thing Alan don't play about the ladies on this podcast. Jesse one time was gone, and he was like, "Yo, she left our group chat one time, and Alan was like, yo, what's going on? What's this?"
Yeah, no, we don't play them games.
And
You're a real one.
Alan don't play about Giovanni. He don't play about Jesse. He don't care about me. He'll be like, "Oh, that's that nigga Tina." But the ladies, he don't play. He will make sure that they are good. and I appreciate that about you. But anyway, yes,
I appreciate
Giovanni,
that
it is
too.
celebrating a birthday this weekend. I'm sure the birthday festivities are going to get on the way. So we are going to start with you, and we're going to do the single shot so everybody can see the vavoom. Giovanni,
Yes.
your
Look at that. Baddie alert. Baddie alert.
Thanks, y'all. Let's see. Without me having to shed any tears, I'm super excited for my birthday coming up. Of course, y'all are my people. Thank you for being in my corner. And yeah, I'm just excited. Like, that's my moral of the story for today is just like live your best life, and that's what I'm gonna do. So thank y'all for always supporting me.
Love it. We support you. We love you, Giovanni. We want you to have fun, be safe in all the things that you do, and we wish you many more blessings. We are blessed and better for having you in our lives. If I could speak for everybody,
For sure.
I know I definitely am, and I appreciate you and know that you're going to do great things and do it more abundantly. Okay, so I appreciate you. Celebrate your life as we will celebrate in spirit with you. I'm going to go to Alan. Go ahead, Alan. What is your moral of the story, sir?
My moral of the story is wash your hands. Rona spike is still spiking. Make sure to brush your teeth. Make sure to brush your tongue. You know what I'm saying? Fellas, Fellas, I want you to get yourself a good travel bag. I don't know what it's called. Oh, it's a toiletry bag. Fellas, that's the game for me this week. Get yourself a good, nice toiletry bag. It has changed my life on my last recent trip because normally I just put all my stuff in a Ziploc bag. And that's a little bit sus. Customs don't really like that. So, fellas, get yourself a toiletry bag. Also, Dubs in 5, they should win tonight. Peace.
Absolutely, they should, because they're actually good in 2K, unlike the Orlando Magic, who need some work.
Hence the number one pick. It's on the way.
Yes. All right. Jesse, with the fly girl outfit from the Living Color, channeling Aaliyah and Selena all in the same thing. What's your moral of the story?
First of all, I would just like to shout out my girl, Jay. She's been through a lot this year, and she just keeps on going. Like, girl, let me know what your secret is. Your birthday's coming up. I wish you many more healthy years, glowing years. You have taught me a lot personally, especially with your self-love stuff. Let me tell you something. In the beginning of this year, I was going through a lot, and you helped me, girl. So shout out to my girl, Jay. And I hope your birthday is everything and more because you deserve it. And my moral of the story is to just appreciate who you have in your life, and to if you have kids, hug them, love them. Don't take advantage of their presence. I know sometimes little kids, they can be really annoying. And me, I'm speaking from personal experience. I got 3 boys and I love them to death, but sometimes they drive me crazy. But you know what? At the end of the day, I always give them a big hug. I let them know how much I love them. And just do that. Just let your kids know how much you love them. Because as you see, especially with this terrorist, hateful crimes that's been going on, especially on little kids, tomorrow is not promised. So love your kids. Show them how much you love them. Make them feel loved. And love yourself. I think loving yourself is key. And yeah, one more time, shout out to my baby girl, Jay.
Appreciate that. And Jesse, we need about 2 TikTok videos with that outfit. Do not let that outfit go to waste.
We do.
And if everybody can just touch the screen, Jesse says she has 3 boys. We are praying for that baby girl so that she can complete her tribe.
Stop it right now. I'm all set. I'm done. Sorry.
I would pray for no such thing.
Yes.
All right, y'all. We love you.
All right, listen. So my moral of the story, real quick. There's 2 different things. There's a villain and a hero are virtually the same. The reason that they're different, there's one distinct difference. A villain says, they both say the world has hurt me. in some sort of way. In any comic book, any movie, the world has hurt me. A villain says the world has hurt me, and this is what I'm going to do and hurt the world back in vengeance. A hero says the world has hurt me, and this is what I'm going to do to make sure that it never happens again to anybody else. So when we talk about asking and receiving, if you receive pain, trauma, and hurt in the world, you have that choice, that distinct choice on whether you, with your trauma and your pain, are going to be the villain or the hero in your own story. So with that being said, for birthday girl Jess Giovanni, for Jesse, for Alan York, we are the Soapbox Podcast. Hey, we appreciate y'all. We are making this thing do what it do. And we are, where's the video? This is where we pose. We are out. Peace.
Anyway, tell them what we talking about. Anyway, tell them what we talking about. Anything, tell them what we talking about.